The free internet is one of many issues that we, as Americans, ought to unite behind. Internet freedom is an issue that transcends race, class, and gender. We are so divided as a country right now. Dangerously divided. It would be useful then for us to remind ourselves what it is that unites us as Americans. Internet freedom ought to be one of those issues, and it ought to be right near the top. But Americanism includes far more than internet freedom. It includes the Bill of Rights, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and freedom to petition. The right to bear arms, freedom from quartering soldiers, freedom to not be searched or have your possessions seized without probable cause or without a warrant from a judge. It includes the due process of law, including the right to remain silent, the right to a speedy and public trial by a jury of our peers, and no cruel and unusual punishment. We may, and we do, reasonably disagree on the precise definition and interpretation of some of these rights. Nevertheless, we, as Americans, ought to happily unite behind these core principles. It's what defines us as Americans. These rights that I've just enumerated are extremely rare. Very, very, very few human beings have enjoyed these rights in history. We take these rights for granted at our peril. The American nationality. And you go, the American nationality? Yes, the American nationality. The American nationality is different from any other nationality. The American nationality is not based on ethnicity, religion, or color. Americanism, rather, is an ideological nationality. It's a nationality that includes blacks, whites, Hispanics, and Asians, liberals and conservatives. No doubt, we have differences amongst each other. But that's okay. That's okay that we have differences. In fact, it's good that we have differences. We should celebrate our differences. But we should also celebrate what unites us. And what unites us as Americans is a common love for freedom. Freedoms that transcend our differences. Freedoms that allow for differences. We need a united Americanism in this country, and we need it desperately. I fear very much the consequences of us continuing to go down a road in which we constantly fight amongst each other. I crave a united America a country that represents a bulwark for freedom, a country of great diversity, but also a country of remarkable unity. We must, as Americans, do everything within our power to resist an age-old technique called divide and conquer. Divide and conquer is a technique historically used by elites to dominate and control a population. They pick out various groups that often have very legitimate grievances concerning each other. But then they exploit that and watch as we fight amongst each other while they sit perched up on top and gleefully laugh as we become utterly incapable of uniting behind common goals and objectives. We must, as Americans, forever resist any attempt by the rich and the powerful to divide us inseparably. There are real differences and grievances amongst us. And many of those are not trivial, but are rather very important. We ought to work and communicate with one another to solve them. And all of us, each and every one of us, I don't care what your background is, all of us ought to be sensitive to and ought to listen to other groups. This is all necessary, and we could all do a better job in doing this. Nevertheless, we must always remember that there remain very key issues and core principles that transcend those differences. I teach a U.S. history course at Arizona State University. It goes to 1865. But, I'm fairly knowledgeable about U.S. history past 1865. Man, we have come too far as a country to not unite. Look at all that we've been through. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. And we're just gonna stop here? Right? Like, no. No. We must unite. We will unite. We must unite, and we must recognize that at the end of the day, we have far more in common as Americans than the differences that separate us. We will unite as Americans, but we need to do so sooner rather than later. The hour is late. We cannot afford to allow our differences to obscure the things that unite us. If we do, we will regret it. On July 4th, 2026, we will celebrate, as a nation, our 250th anniversary. Let's make it our goal, our common goal as Americans, that when we celebrate our 250th anniversary, we will do so knowing that we are a freer country than at any other time in our history. This is a lofty goal, but it is one that we can absolutely achieve if we want to. And I have a hunch we will. I really do. There are big changes coming around the corner. Some very, very positive changes, and they are related to technology, they are related to internet freedom, and they are related to a general awakening among the public. So, we will do it. We will do it. Well, that concludes my first topical video. If you've only seen this latter segment, make sure that you watch the earlier segments in order for this to make better sense, right? Otherwise, you're like, what is this guy talking about, right? Also, share these videos with your friends and family. Okay, especially the latter ones. Like the text messaging is fun, right? It's there to hook people in. Share these videos with your friends and family. I want this message to get out and to reach as many people as possible. All right? So, in a few weeks, I will update with a new series, and it will be a good one. It will be a good one. Lord willing. Lord willing. And in the meantime, take care and God bless.